The FUs represent the corruption of the children's brains, and it makes him mad because the FUs force the children to grow up quickly, and he does not want the children to grow up quickly like he had to.
While I was sitting down, I saw something that drove me crazy. Somebody had written FU on the wall. It drove me damn near crazy. I thought how Phoebe and all the other little kids would see it and how they'd wonder what the hell it meant. And then some dirty kid would tell them what it meant, and how they'd all think about it and maybe even worry about it for a couple of days. I kept wanting to kill who'd ever written it.
The Little Shirley Beans record was clearly a record made for children, as it is about a child losing their front teeth. Holden loves this record and buys a copy for Phoebe, but accidentally drops it, shattering it. He tells this to Phoebe, and yet she wants to keep the pieces. This represents innocence, and when Holden breaks the record, it's like a loss of innocence. When Phoebe asks to keep the record, it represents her still holding on to the innocence she has left.
Then something terrible happened. Just as I got in the park, I dropped old Phoebe's record. It broke into about 50 pieces. It wasn't a big envelope and all, but it broke anyway. I damn near cried. It made me feel so terrible. But all I did was, I took the pieces out of the envelope and put them in my coat pocket. They weren't any good for anything, but I didn't feel like just throwing them away.
"Give me the pieces,"
She said.
"I'm saving them."
She took them right out of my hand and then she put them in the drawer on the night table.
The kid singing represents irony because the innocent kid is singing a poem about a sexual relationship. This shows that kids around Holden are growing up and he wants to stop them and protect them from transitioning into adulthood.
It looks some sort of poor. The father had on one of those pearl gray hats that poor guys wear a lot when they want to look sharp. He and his wife were just walking along, talking, not paying any attention to their kid. The kid was swell. He was walking the street instead of on the sidewalk, but right next to the curb. He was making out like he was walking a very straight line the way kids do, and the whole time he kept singing and humming. I got up closer so I could hear what he was singing. He was singing that song, "If a Body, Catch a Body," coming through the Rye. He had a pretty little voice, too. He was just singing for the hell of it, you could tell. The car zoomed by, brakes screeched all over the place. His parents paid no attention to him, and he kept on walking next to the curb and singing, "If a Body, Catch a Body," coming through the Rye. It made me feel better. It made me feel not so depressed anymore.
Holden's dream job is to be the catcher in the rye and catch all the children that are going to fall off the cliff at the end of the rye field. This represents how he wants to stop children from growing up and plunge into the hardships of adulthood.
I keep picturing all these little kids playing some game in this big field of rye and all. Thousands of little kids. Nobody's around. Nobody big, except me. And I'm standing on the edge of some crazy cliff. What I have to do, I have to catch everybody if they start to go off the cliff. If they're running, they don't look where they're going. I have to come out of somewhere and catch them. That's all I do all day. I be the catcher in the rye.
Yep.